Imagine waking up one day and finding out that your home is no longer yours without ever selling it. How could that happen? Today, we'll dive into the shocking world of deed fraud and why it's becoming a major threat in cities like Houston, New York, and Los Angeles.
Deed fraud, what exactly is it? Well, in simple terms, it's when someone illegally transfers ownership of your property without your knowledge or permission. They do this by forging signatures, creating fake IDs, or using a legal loophole known as a quitclaim deed. This deed is meant for quick property transfers between trusted parties, but is often exploited by fraudsters. In cities like Houston, New York, and Los Angeles, the number of cases is on the rise, and it's costing people their homes.
So how does this happen? The fraudsters either get a hold of your personal information or trick you into signing papers you don't fully understand, sometimes posing as legal advisors or even trusted friends. Once they have the deed transferred in their name, they either sell the property to unsuspecting buyers or take out loans against it, leaving the rightful owner in financial ruin.
Why are we seeing an increase in this? Scammers are getting more creative with the digital tools available and are particularly targeting those who are vulnerable, like the elderly or absentee homeowners. If you aren't paying close attention to your property records, it's easy to miss the fraud until it's too late. And this isn't just happening in Houston. Across the country, fraudsters are finding new ways to steal homes and make a quick profit.
Let's dive into some real-life examples of how deed fraud has devastated homeowners, starting in Houston. Celia Ibarra is someone who knows this pain all too well. Her family home, one they had owned for over 60 years, was stolen through fraudulent deed transfers. The scammers forged documents, filed them with the Harris County Clerk's office, and suddenly the property was no longer hers. Celia's shock and frustration were palpable. How could somebody take what you worked hard for years? Fortunately, she was able to work with attorneys to have the fraudulent deed reversed, but not everyone is so lucky.
In another Houston case, scammers targeted a multi-million-dollar property in the River Oaks neighborhood. This scam involved fraudulent warranty deeds on a vacant house. By the time the fraud was uncovered, the thieves had already transferred ownership and were preparing to sell the property. Let's move to New York City, where deed fraud is also rampant. In Harlem, an elderly homeowner was blindsided when her family discovered that her brownstone had been sold without her knowledge. The scammer had forged her signature and filed the fraudulent documents years ago. The family only found out when they tried to sell the property themselves. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, vacant homes in gentrifying neighborhoods have been prime targets. Scammers file fake deeds, transferring ownership of these properties to themselves, and then sell them at below market prices. Homeowners only find out when they start receiving collections or property tax bills they can't explain. These stories may sound like something out of a crime novel, but they're real.
And it could happen to anyone not paying close attention to their property records.
Now that we've seen some real examples of people who've had their homes stolen right from under them, you might be wondering, how exactly does deed fraud happen? The answer lies in a mix of forged documents, stolen identities, and loopholes in the property transfer process. Here's how it works. Scammers first gather personal information about the homeowner. This can be done in a variety of ways: stealing mail, phishing scams, or even by purchasing the data on the black market. Once they have enough information, they forge the homeowner's signature on a document known as a quitclaim deed. Unlike a typical property sale, which involves numerous checks and balances, a quitclaim deed allows someone to quickly transfer property ownership without the same level of scrutiny. These criminals then file this forged document with the county clerk's office, making it appear as though the property legally belongs to them. They may do this remotely, using fake IDs or sometimes even impersonating a notary. Once the deed is filed, they either sell the property to an unsuspecting buyer or take out loans against it, leaving the real homeowner completely in the dark.
Who are they targeting? It's not just anyone. Scammers are getting smarter about whom they go after. They frequently target elderly homeowners, many of whom live alone or might not fully understand the complexities of property transactions. Fraudsters might pose as friendly advisors or helpers, gaining their trust and convincing them to sign documents they don't fully comprehend. But it's not just the elderly. Vacant properties or homes owned by absentee landlords are prime targets as well. These homes might not be checked regularly, and homeowners might not notice anything wrong until it's too late.
So how can you spot it? One major red flag is if you stop receiving property tax bills or utility bills in your name. Another warning sign is if you get unexpected notices from debt collectors about loans you never took out. If something seems off with your property records, it's important to investigate immediately. So, now that you know how deed fraud happens, how can you protect yourself? Fortunately, there are some steps you can take to make sure you don't become the next victim. First, it's critical to monitor your property records regularly. This might sound tedious, but it can help you spot fraudulent activity before it spirals out of control. In many cities, you can visit your local county clerk's website and check to see if any changes have been made to your property's ownership records. In places like New York City, there are systems like ACRIS that allow you to track changes to your property's deed online. Some counties even offer property fraud alert systems, where you can receive a notification if any changes are made to your deed. Second, if you're an elderly homeowner, or if you know someone who might be vulnerable, be extra cautious about signing any legal documents. Scammers often try to trick the elderly into signing over their property without understanding what they're agreeing to. Always involve a trusted family member or a legal professional in these decisions. If someone is pressuring you to sign documents quickly, take a step back and consult with someone you trust. Another important tip: stay vigilant with your bills. If you suddenly stop receiving property tax bills or utility bills, it could be a sign that something is wrong. These missing bills might indicate that your property has been transferred out of your name. If that happens, contact your local government office right away. Lastly, you might want to consider property insurance or title monitoring services that can help cover legal expenses or alert you to changes in your property records. While these services won't prevent fraud, they can be a helpful layer of protection.
Deed fraud isn't just a financial crime, it's a violation of your trust and security. Imagine working your whole life to own your home, only to have it stolen without your knowledge. For families like Celia's or homeowners across the country, this nightmare became a reality. But the good news is by staying informed, monitoring your property, and taking a few simple precautions, you can help ensure that this never happens to you. Remember, deed fraud doesn't just take a house away, it robs people of the security that they've worked so hard in life to build. That's why it's more important than ever to protect yourself, your family, and your home. Now that you know how serious deed fraud can be and the devastating impact it has on families, it's time to take action. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more impactful content like this. I cover some intriguing topics, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Also, check out my other videos, especially the True Crime playlist. Stay informed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.